Dear brothers and sisters, today's khutbah we started talking about a very important topic, which is what are the different forms of trial that we are exposed to in this life. We know from the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that we are being examined and trialed, tested in this life. This is evidenced by many ayat. I'll just mention one of them. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Basically, Allah says He has created this life, created life and death, created everything based on the concept of trial. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, to test you. أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, which one of you is best in deeds and actions. And as you can see, the trial is in who is best, not who is more in deeds and actions. Why is that? Because it is not by the sum and quantity of your deeds, but by the quality of your deeds. Are they sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If somebody does 2 rak'at in sincerity to Allah, they are accepted. While if you do 1,000 rak'at without sincerity, they are not accepted. Are they according to the sharia of Allah, according to what is legislated to us, according to the book of Allah and the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, or according to what you choose for yourself, a certain form of worship that you have invented? If you do 2 rak'at again, according to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and with sincerity, they will be accepted. While if you do much more than that, 1,000 rak'at in a form and a way that is not according to what was shown to you, they will not be accepted. Let's say somebody did 1,000 rak'ah, but he did not include the sujood in those rak'at. He says, okay, all I'm going to do is pray standing, and maybe I won't even do ruku'ah, I'll just pray standing. Will this be accepted from them? Even if he stands for days and nights doing that and asking Allah, oh Allah, I fear your punishment. Oh Allah, admit me to Jannah. And he's standing like this and he has not done what he's supposed to be doing. The 5 salawat of the day. Will this admit him to Jannah? Never. So, أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. This is the trial. The quality of the deed. Sincerity and according to the Sharia, according to the law and religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this life we are trialed by many different things. And if we follow the ayat in the Quran and the ahadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we will be amazed that many things that we don't know why they're happening to us are actually trials from Allah. And that we misunderstood many of the things that happen to us in our life. Such as when Allah gives us wealth and health and honor and rank and good reputation, we think that this alone is a sign that Allah loves us. Allah is pleased with us because He has given us more. And we hear this all the time. Me and you and all of us hear this. And we say that. And even if we didn't say it, we frequently think like this. We don't think that are we pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way that we are living. Because we know that from the ayat that the only sign that Allah is pleased with us is when Allah guides us to follow His way, to follow His Sharia. Because following the Sharia of Allah, following the religion, commandments of Allah, is the path to eternal happiness and bliss and honor and provision from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. While if somebody is given, no matter how much he is given in this dunya, but he is displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going against Allah, acquiring the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he will only enjoy this for a limited time period, and then he will be thrown in the fire of hell. So it cannot be, just logically thinking, it cannot be a sign that Allah is pleased with us just because He has given us in this dunya. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this in multiple ayat, such as in Surah Al-Fajr. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَمَهُ. And these verses many of us have heard many times or memorized them. This is chapter 89, verse 15. And it says that, and when the human being is trialed by Allah, tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by honor and provision and sustenance, he would start saying that Allah has honored me. Rabbi akraman. Allah loves me and is honoring me because He's giving me more. While a human being would think the opposite when the opposite happens to him. وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ فَقَدْرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ. And when he is tested, and Allah restricts his provision, فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَ. He says, Allah is disgracing me, Allah is humiliating me. Despite the fact that Allah in these verses said, this is a test and this is a test. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after that says, Kalla. No, this concept that just because I gave you dunya, that I like you and I love you and I'm pleased with you is wrong. And this concept just because I withheld something from dunya from you, that I hate you or dislike you, is also wrong. So what is right? The right concept is that the sign of Allah's pleasure with us is that we are on the straight path, that we are pleasing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are doing what pleases Allah, and that is a sign that we have acquired the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That makes just perfect sense. If we are following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are guided to this, because not anybody is guided to that. Actually, the majority of humanity are not guided to this state of being pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. According to the ayah, that most people, no matter what you do, talking to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no matter how much effort you put in trying to guide them, most people will not be believers. So the state of being a believer and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an exception from the state of most of human beings. And that is the sole and only sign that Allah is pleased with you. That He chose you from amongst all those people to be His true servant. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُعْطِي الدُّنْيَا لِمَنْ يُحِبُّ وَمَنْ لَا يُحِبُّ. According to the hadith, Allah gives dunya to whom He likes and whom He dislikes. وَلَا يُعْطِ الدِّينَ إِلَّا لِمَنْ أَحَبَّ. Allah gives deen, religion, obedience to Allah, iman, only to those whom He loves. So, if we want to know if Allah is pleased with us, according to the famous saying, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تَعْرِفَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَقَامَكَ فَانْظُرْ فِيمَا أَقَامَكَ. If you want to know your status and ranking in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see where He has put you with regards to following His commandments, with regards to your belief in Allah, with regards to your fear from Allah, with regards to your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at yourself, examine it, analyze it, see where am I from all these qualities. Belief, love to Allah, fear from Allah, following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet. The degree we fulfill these qualities, the higher that degree, the higher our degree in the sight of Allah. The higher our ranking. The more honored we are in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now on top of that, if Allah gave us dunya, if you are following the commandments of Allah and you are pleasing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and on top of that, Allah gives you dunya, wealth and health and ranking and honor and so on, status, good job, good family. If Allah gives you that on top, then it is more pleasure, inshallah, as long as you are using it in the right way. Using it in the right way means that to understand that this is a trial from Allah. It is not given to me. It is not given to me as just a mere reward, but it is also a trial. This is what Nabiullah Sulaiman said when he found that everything is easy for him. He wanted the throne of Bilqis to be brought to him, and one of the jinn says, I will bring it to you before you finish this setting. He was talking to people. He says, before you get up, it will be there. قال الذي عنده علم من الكتاب أنا آتيك به قبل أن يرتد إليك طرفك. Another one said, and this was a believing one. He says, which shows that belief gives you strength over strength and power over power. He says, I will bring you the throne before you close your eye. And then he did, and he opened his eye, and the throne was right there. What did Sulaiman say? He says, هذا من فضل ربي. This is only a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ليبلوني, to test me. So he understood that it is a favor, and the purpose is a trial. Favor and a trial at the same time. So we should not think that when we get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala things of this dunya, that it is an honor. We should first see and look, what are we doing? And what is our status? What is our conduct? What is our belief in Allah? If it's good, then insha'Allah ta'ala, Allah is bestowing His favors on us by giving us dunya. But we should never become arrogant that we are given more than other people, because that immediately takes us away from Allah. And we should use it in the proper way, because we know it is a test from Allah. لِيَبْلُوَنِي أَشْكُرُ أَمْ أَكْفُرُ. Allah is testing me to see if I'm going to be grateful. This is what Sulaiman said. أو أكفر. Or if I'm going to be ungrateful. And look, وَمَنْ شَكَرَ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. And whoever is grateful, he is only helping his own self. It's for your own sake. فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ كَرِيمٌ. And Allah is not in need of anybody. مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ فَعَلَيْهَا. If we do good, we're only doing good to ourselves. وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ فَعَلَيْهَا. If we do evil, we're only becoming evil towards ourselves. And this is the meaning of ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ, that we are unjust towards ourselves. Allah will not benefit from righteousness and will not be harmed by evil at all. إنكم لن تبلغوا نفعي فتنفعوني ولن تبلغوا ضري فتضروني. According to Hadith Qudsi, يا عبادي, O my slaves, you will never be able to harm me, and you will never be able to benefit me in any way, neither this nor that. So the ayat talk to us about this. Kalla, Allah says, no, giving you just this dunya is not because I love you or I like you or I'm pleased with you. There are conditions, as I mentioned. And restricting the dunya, it is not because I dislike you or I hate you or I'm punishing you. But then Allah draws our attention to the more important way of thinking, which is كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. Why aren't you thinking about what you are supposed to be doing? كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. Where are you from looking after the orphans? كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. You are not looking after the orphans. You are not honoring the orphans. تُكْرِمُون. Look at akraman, tukrimun. Allah used the same verb. From the same verb, He says, you are not honoring the orphans. So how can you think that I'm honoring you by giving you dunya, if you are not using it in a proper way? كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ وَلَا تَحَاضُّونَ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And you don't encourage each other to feed the needy. وَتَأْكُلُونَ التُّرَاثَ أَكْلًا لَمًّا. And you are eating wealth without any kind of accountability. وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And all your concern and love is for this dunya. And then Allah reminds people of the akhirah. كَلَّا إِذَا دُكَّتِ الْأَرْضُ دَكًّا دَكًّا. Because the real honor and the real bliss and the real happiness is there. And the real punishment and the real pain is there as well. So real honor is based on where your current status will lead you in the akhirah. And the same, disgrace and humiliation is also based on what your conduct today will lead you in the akhirah. So this is basically the meaning of those ayat according to what I read in the tafsir, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The times always catches us, so inshallah I'm going to stop here because I know people have to go back to work. Inshallah we'll continue the subject next time.